So, as many of you will probably know, Dzongsar Khyentse has started his talks in the Rigpa centres in Europe. I don't know how he got the idea that I'd suggested that we vote for our Lama. I mean, I'm not that dumb. I just went, oh God, you know. It's like, facepalm. Some people really didn't like the way he did that. This made me look foolish, but you know, that's okay. I mean, from some people's perspective, I'm a real idiot. Whenever you put yourself out like this and actually kind of, you know, put something out publicly, which is your opinion, even if it's reflective of a lot of people's opinion, which in my case it is, you know, I'm still the person in the firing line. I'm the one with the target on my front. But interestingly enough, you know, at the end when he said thank you to me and Bernie for actually, you know, saying what we thought and putting it out there, I thought it was great because, you know, I also respect him, you know, because he's doing the same thing. He's standing up there, he's actually talking about this stuff, and he's got a big red target on his front, you know, for anybody who, well, for anybody. So whenever you do that, you know, you're just opening yourself up to people, for people to say all sorts of mean things. And as Dzongsar Khyentse said, you know, he feels it, you know, when people misunderstand what he's saying. And that's why I have, you know, asked questions to clarify certain things, to try and, you know, sort of fine it down to, yeah, what exactly are we saying here? Because I think questioning is a good thing. And I mean, at a certain point, we're going to come to a point where we go, okay, yeah, well, you know, that's fine. That's what you believe and that's how you interpret it. And over here we have a different Lama who interprets it differently. And, you know, like, I'm not sorry if that's Rigpa's point of view and they're going to go with that. Well, fine, they can do that. But, you know, from where I'm standing, that makes them look like they've fallen over that line into cult territory. And whereas over here, you know, we've got all these other Lamas able to interpret the Vajrayana according to this particular situation, you know. And I think the thing with Dzongsar Khyentse's talks is what we're seeing here is a little bit of a bridge being built between those who say, you know, Sogyal's done nothing wrong, and those who say, well, he's a complete arsehole and he should go to jail. You know, that's a pretty wide division there. And there's lots and lots and lots and lots of opinions in between. But, you know, when it comes down to it, on one side you've got someone who's behaved abominably in terms of, you know, normal perception. And on the other hand, you've got people who, because their perception is supposedly pure, but from these people's perspective is completely and utterly warped, are seeing that nothing has been done wrong. So, you know, as long as people hold tight to either of those extreme views, we have, you know, we have a problem. And near the twain shall meet. So Dzongsar Khyentse is kind of walking down that middle line a little bit. And yes, he's sticking to the traditional Vajrayana, and he's not managing so far to make a specific kind of category, if you like, for when the Vajrayana is broken. And I think it's quite a good term, actually, because it kind of says it's broken down. It's fallen apart. You know, it can't work when the Lama fails in his duty to the student's enlightenment, which, you know, according to Dzongsar Khyentse, that's the big thing. When he fails on that level, and he has in a big way, and you know, this is in Dzongsar Khyentse's terms. He said that the Lamas have a responsibility to not damage the seed of bodhicitta, pure perception, and guru devotion. Now that has happened, so it's broken. So yeah, we have a special situation, and Dzongsar Khyentse is not speaking specifically yet. I know a lot of people are disappointed. They're saying, well, he's still, you know, dancing around the subject, and that's true, but I don't think he's aiming to specifically deal with that at the moment. I mean, it's like the elephant is not in the closet anymore. He's in the corner of the room, but he's still in the shadows. It's a step. It's a step in the right direction. So for those of us who still give a damn about Rigpa, this is a sort of an attempt to kind of work with it in a way that might be helpful. It's like you can listen to things and draw out just what confirms your, the opinions and ideas that you've already got. You give them a tick, and you can draw out the things that, don't fit with your already, your opinions that you have already, and give that a big cross. And, that's just like what we tend to do. It's just good, if you're a spiritual practitioner, I think, or even just trying to kind of have less filters, shall we say, on what you're seeing. It's good to recognize that, to recognize your own tendency. And while you're watching, to see what things are a problem for you. And then instead of just like reacting to that, and going, oh, Jesus, don't these guys ever get it right? It's like, how can they still be thinking that, this. So, you can have all of that reaction. But I think what's more useful in this situation is to see if you can't formulate a question. If you can find your questions down so that they're very, very specific, then you're not so much forming an attitude and giving a reaction, an opinion, or an evaluation. You're like pushing the teacher, the speaker, to see slightly differently through your questions. It's not easy to do, and as I say, you might not necessarily ever be able to get it to the Lama anyway. He's got some things to say that from the perspective of Tibetan Lamas is a pretty heavy criticism. So, someone who already knows that, well, it won't hear that, They just say, oh yeah, that's, fine. But they won't necessarily go, tick, oh yeah, that's good. What they hear is when he says, you can never, ever criticize, once you've taken your Lama knowingly, And so that just raises a red flag, because they go, no, that's the exact situation that caused this problem in the first place. That's what allowed it to go on. It's what allowed it to be covered up for years. And that might be, that idea might be all very well when all the other aspects of the Vajrayana, package or system are in place. But when a fairly major part of it has fallen down, because, let's not mince words here, people definitely have been harmed, not just by their Lama, but by the people around them as well. By all of them having this view that permits no criticism and does not allow them to actually see that harm is happening. It would be nice to think that we could revisit these things and, move somewhere more positive, not just put in concrete those same ideas that allowed the problem to happen in the first place. So, that would be nice, but, let's hope that no matter what we do, somehow or other, it will all benefit the Dharma in the end, because true Dharma benefits beings. True Dharma does not damage people. And, yeah, that's my opinion. And I'm sticking with that one, because I'm pretty sure the Buddha wouldn't see anything that damaged people as being Buddhism. And you could talk philosophy all you like, but and say, well, this is a higher view. But in which case, perhaps you shouldn't be using the word Buddhism if you think you've got a higher view than the Buddha. Anyway, that's it, and the reason that I'm bringing more vlogs to you is because I do have some patrons, and I am going to do a little bit of a plug and say, if you want, me to keep spouting here and putting myself up for abuse from other people who don't like what I say, then I do need some encouragement, I really do. And honestly, the only reason I am doing this is because I do have some people who think that what I'm doing is so important that they're prepared to be a patron, so that I'll keep vlogging. So that's it for today, and yeah, subscribe and all that. Bye.